How would you make a program that behaves like this? It asks you for your name, and you put your name as a user, and the program will greet you, will output a message, hello, and your name there, and also an exclamation mark at the end of the string. Well, you do that with two things. First, you need the input function to ask the user for input, to prompt the user for input, and then you need string formatting. This is how string formatting looks like in Python. So in the first line, we are getting the user input, storing that input as a string in user input, and then we create a variable. In that variable, we will store the message we are constructing. And this here is a string formatting expression. So we want to print out hello, and then have a space, and then we want to print out the name of the user, so the value that the user inputs. And this here, %s, is a special string in Python. Then we have an exclamation mark, which is a normal string, and the double quotes. So this is special here. And then after the string, you don't want to put a comma. What you want to do is use this % operator, and then use a variable. Now the value of this variable will go and replace the %s. So what you get instead is hello and your name there. Now, this method of string formatting, by using this %s here and % operator in here, this is valid for Python 2 and Python 3 as well. Now, there is another method that was introduced in Python 3.6. So the method I'll introduce now will not work if you run it with a Python version earlier than 3.6. The method goes like this. Let's store the entire string in a variable again. And so it will be a string with double quotes or single quotes, whatever you prefer. I'm using double quotes. So hello, and you use this curly brackets, and inside that you put the name of the variable, which value you want to be put in this place. Now this is not all, so if I save this and execute the code and I say audit, it will return this string. So we need to do something else here. What we need to do is we need to add a prefix f just outside of the quotes. So this is a string, this f goes outside of the quotes. If I save the script now, execute again, write my name, and now we get the expected output. Note that we've got two variables with the same name here, and what it will happen is that first Python executes the script from top to bottom. So it executes the first line, it executes the second line, so it will store hello audit in the message variable, but then we are overwriting that variable. So in this case, this string will be written in that message variable. So whatever you create in here, whatever object you store in here in the variable, that object will be the current object that that variable will refer to. So in this case here, we print out the object that you created in here, which happens to be hello audit. Which one should you use? Well, if you think that your project is going to be run with Python 3.6 or above, then use this nicer version. It's more readable. If you think that your project, your Python files will be run with Python 2 or 3.1 or 2 or 3, then you might want to opt in for this method. Because sometimes when you deploy your scripts in a server, for example, let's say you want to execute a script every day at a certain hour, you want to deploy it on a web server, and that web server will have a specific version of Python. Sometimes that version is Python 2. So in that case, you want to adjust your scripts so that it works with Python 2. And the web server, the computer, will run your script with a particular Python version. We're going to look at this later when we deploy the web apps. So for now, these are the two methods of string formatting.